now we're going to have an update on the ski jump by Bryan Sanders.
Good evening, Council. Thanks for the invitation to just give a brief update tonight on the ski jump project. So just quick summary, Red Wing is credited with being the host of the first sanctioned ski competition in America, and that's skiing of any kind. Ski jumping was the original winter sport, and so that was February 8th, 1887, and you had the two best ski jumpers in the world from Norway here who actually immigrated to Red Wing, the Red Wing area, and that was Taurus and Mikkel Hemmesvet, who are holding the skis in the upper right-hand corner. Red Wing was well known in the early 1900s. The All-Americans from Red Wing, they were Norwegian Americans, but American-born, and so they called them the All-Americans from Red Wing, and they competed throughout the world, but were knowing. So there's this amazing untold story that many of you know Jerry Borgen has talked about for at least the last 85 years or so. And really credit to Jerry that he kept the story alive about this project. And then Red Wing, of course, was host to two U.S. national championships in 1928 and 1926. I'm sorry, 1928 and 1936. In 2007, we founded Friends of American Ski Jumping, which is a 501c3. I have become the executive director of that. I'm a 92 U.S. Olympian in ski jumping from Stillwater, Minnesota. In 2012, we were fortunate to get a grant from the Red Wing Area Fund for the museum space, which is located on the mezzanine level of the St. James Hotel. Uniquely, the St. James was the headquarters for both national championships in Red Wing, and also was the early meeting place for the National Ski Association, which was largely founded by the Aurora Ski Club, along with the St. Paul and Minneapolis Ski Clubs, but many of those initial meetings were held in the St. James Hotel. And so the National Ski Association later went on to become USSA, and the US Ski Team, which is located in Park City. So those roots trace directly back here. But free museum, we're proud of our space. In 2015, we were able to get a grant from the Area Fund and also from the Red Wing Port Authority to do a feasibility study about building bringing ski jumping back to the Red Wing area. And we were fortunate to have a very successful study. And in 2016, we received another grant, $500,000 commitment from the Red Wing Area Fund to drive this project, and that's where we are today. So I like to tell people that I've been working on this really since 2007, but we're getting there. So that's the old site of the famous ski jump in Red Wing on Charleston Hill out on Spring Creek Road. Was host to two U.S. national championships, as we should. So we looked at a number of sites in the area as we began to look at opportunities and what we could do. And one of the early sites that we looked at was out at the old Mount Frontenac ski area on the run, the old famous Black Diamond run called Baldy. And you'll see the red line there. Very unique spot. We have enough vertical feet there to build an Olympic large hill, which we've never had in Minnesota. Although Minnesota has had more Olympians in ski jumping than any other state in the country, we've never had an Olympic large hill here. So pretty unique in that fact. It also faces directly north, which is ideal. And then we have this beautiful natural bowl in between the bluffs for great wind protection. So the Federation of International Skiing has been here twice in the last 6 months. So that's like having Major League Baseball come to here. Ski jumping is the national sport in Norway. The summer competitions over there air on Eurosport to over 30 million viewers. So it's very big. So I always like to try and make that comparison, but they love this site. And so we continued to work on the development, and have actually been meeting with the Prairie Island Indian community. It's been extremely welcoming to us, and we've met with them over the last 16 months in the development of this ski jump. So I'm going to just show you a few of the renderings. Of course, the wings is a concept, and actually could be developed into windscreens. That's the only area where we would need to protect from actually behind what we call a tailwind. And so those wings could fan up. With the old run being called Baldy, we went with this concept with the architect ahead of a bald eagle, which really makes this thing a piece of art. Dave Solner is a very accomplished architect. He is the owner of Buck Hill Ski Area, which he purchased about a year and a half ago now. Also a former U.S. ski team member, and he's done projects all around the world. Probably best known as first projects on the rainforest cafes around the world, which are very unique projects, but also has done many projects in Dubai, buildings, and kind of semi-retired from architecture work to follow his dream of owning a ski area. We collaborated, and he did the early design work on the architecture. So that is one of the final rendering views, and you can see really the shape of the top of the tower, how that would emulate an eagle. So we are calling the ski jump Baldy125, which means 125-meter hill size. And so that's the Olympic large hill size. We would see jumps of almost 500 feet, both in summer and winter. By the way, one of the main reasons ski jumping went away in the 1950s here after the Second World War were inconsistent winters. We had those first Norwegians that came here, saw hills, snow, looked like Norway. They built ski jumps, and then they learned over 10 winters they might ski 5, 6. And it's detrimental when you're trying to host a major event each year. Today with snowmaking and actually summer surface, we train and ski more in the summer with a frost track on the in-run, and then we ski on a landing surface of plastic meshed, almost spaghetti noodles, plastic spaghetti noodles meshed into like mats like shingles. They lay them on the hill. It's a perfect simulation. And so those barriers no longer exist. And we have a great need in this country for a new Olympic large hill. And so this project has also been a collaboration with USA Nordic in Park City, and this would become the new national training center for both women's and men's national teams. So this is one of the most recent designs, just to give you an idea of how the top of that is designed. The first level, what we're calling levels, actually 2, 3, and 4, because you'd start on 1, take the elevator up. That first level is the athlete space where the athletes come out alongside the steps there, and from there they can get onto a bar start. Those different steps show just different speeds that we can adjust depending on the wind, snow conditions, so it gives us a number of start areas, but that's the start area. The second level is actually going to be built into an event space. All of the new jumps around the world, those designed for the Olympics, include an event space. And so that will seat up to 150 people. And then the top level is really reserved for observation, but also could be used for some events. So this gives you a little bit better idea. Level 2 is the athlete level. Level 3 would be the event space, and then the observation space on top of level 4. This is the athlete room, so that second level where you'd come out. It's also going to be an extension of our museum space. And so the snowflakes you see there is a concept of all the skiers and bringing the ski community together. This is a rendering of that event space, empty and full, at least set for an event. And then kind of the concept around that, this is actually taken from Giants Ridge in Biwabic, but to be able to do events like weddings, those kinds of things, the top. So what I just want to cover real quick in closing here, the mission of Friends of American Ski Jumping is to preserve the history of our sport and the great history that begins with ski competition here in Red Wing in 1887. Secondly, to have a youth focus. Our key and goal with this facility is to introduce youth to the sport and to provide those free introductory ski programs. We have a collaboration with both St. Paul and Minneapolis ski clubs, and actually we'll have entire sequential development from St. Paul Ski Club with introductory ski jumps going up to a 50 meter, then going over to an 80 meter in Bush Lake in Bloomington, and then down to Red Wing for the Olympic size large hill. So full development that we would now have. And then, of course, to host the events, best events in the world. Based on our timeline right now that we are working diligently to stay on is to still break ground this summer. We've been given our conditional use permits, worked with both Fuller's Township and then, of course, Goodhue County on that. We've got a couple I's to dot and T's to cross on that process, but we're working through that. Still hope to open summer of 18. And if we maintain that timeline, we've been given both the U.S. National Championships, which are actually held in the summer now, and the Grand Prix final. So the Grand Prix is a summer series like the World Cup. It goes across Europe. It would finish here in Red Wing. That would mean 18 countries coming here to the Red Wing area for the Grand Prix final. And that would be an annual event that would come back. So Federation International Skiing is very much interested in coming back to the U.S. We haven't had those big events in the U.S. since the 80s, and so very exciting. Our current national teams are going to Slovenia to train in the summer months for almost 2.5 months. With this new hill, both teams would be able to stay home and spend more time in the U.S. in the summer months training, so we're really excited about that. A couple things relating to community, strategic ski jump park initiatives that we want to work on is community sustainability and how we tie this in. When we did the study, it showed very much that there's a huge interest in the Red Wing area for outdoor recreation and to take advantage of these beautiful bluffs and the beautiful space here in the Mississippi Valley. And so this is very much about outdoor recreation, about youth development, opportunities for summer camps with zip lining and tubing and ropes courses, an educational piece, a collaboration with Native American communities, so an opportunity to learn Native American culture. And also for that to expand not only to youth, but also to adults for lifelong learning opportunities. Also around Native culture and engaging in outdoor recreation and activities of that nature. So quickly, my background, associate director for, past associate director for recreational sports at the University of Minnesota, so all of campus recreation. And I always go back to the research of the Research One institution and what it says about outdoor experiences and experiences outside of the classroom, not only for young people, but how these are consistent of all ages. Students that participate in those programs have higher GPAs, they have higher retention rates, they graduate earlier and on time. They also say that they have a greater appreciation for their college experience. And that's just at academic sides, there's also the whole wellness piece. So we really hope that this will be a great outdoor park, a very unique collaboration with an American organization and a sovereign nation, which I think is maybe the best story at all, in my opinion. So that's a quick summary. Questions?
I've got a couple of questions, and they're really kind of ownership related. Mm-hmm. I'm curious as to how ownership of this works with your placing it on tribal land.
Yeah, so very important question, great question. We are a 501c3. And so we will own the physical ski jump. It'll be operated on a long-term lease. We're still in final stages of that, but a 50-year lease type agreement where we actually own the physical ski jump. That's ours. Any amenities that they would make a decision to bring into the park would be their own. But the physical ski jump and the fundraising belongs to us, and so do the revenues that relate specifically to what we do with ski jumping, the events, the Hall of Fame, those kinds of things. But I can tell you that hundreds and hundreds of hours have gone into that on both sides, collaboration, legal hours, attorney hours, working out that and making sure that neither one of us jeopardize our situation for us, especially as a nonprofit.
Related question, you're talking about opening in the summer of 2018.
Correct.
But you didn't get any bonding money from this legislature
Correct.
So I'm sure you're hoping for it in 2018, but we all know how that works. And just because the bonding bill passes, when you actually get it, so I'm curious as to whether you really think you can make the funding work.
Yeah, so another good question. When we did this feasibility study, the study told us, indicated that we had the potential to raise $3 million in the Red Wing area and beyond. And so that has always been our goal. The legislative piece, the Snow Angels, by the way, which is I participated in for 2 years, and we moved both through the House and the Senate unanimous, and had very good sessions, has always been an unknown. And so that has never been a specific to this project moving forward at any time.
Okay.
If we're successful in the future, we'll be able to feed dollars into the programs that'll support what we're doing down there. And so that may continue. But it was never, wasn't something that we could put a guarantee on. So to date, we just kicked off the public. We're just going public with the campaign now. We raised $1.2 million in the initial quiet phase. We have over $1 million in recent requests. And so we hope to be at a $3 million goal by the end of the summer. What I can tell you is this has had a lot of study work on it, the revenue projections, almost 100 years of history that we can look at from other sites. We have several options for financing that would fund the project beyond the fundraising dollars. And so we anticipate that we're going to end up somewhere around a $6 to $7 million project specifically related to the ski jump. And hope to raise $3 million. We'll always be in fundraising. We're a nonprofit. That's what we do. But if we get to that $3 million, that really makes it smooth for us in terms of the payback and the revenue returns on it. But conservatively, this should bring over 100,000 new visitors to the area annually, and that's very conservative. Economic impact should be a great boost for the area, and a great way to showcase this beautiful part of the state of Minnesota that I think is a great secret in many ways. So.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Can we get the slideshow?
Can we get that?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yep. Yep.
So we get to ask a lot of
Get that to
questions.
Kay, or who's the best one? We'll get it to you. Just a copy of that, absolutely.
We went up there.
Yes, go ahead.
Do I need to come to the mic?
Yes.
Okay. Well, all right, some of you know me. I was just Rich Hill's Camp, 28609 Wallen Runway, about 3 miles away from your potential project.
Okay.
And I would just say, think in terms of solar gardens and wind generator, and highly energy efficiency projects.
You should come to my cabin. You'd like that. I do those kinds of things.
Yeah, you do that.
Yes, I hear
You know the path, and it's like, okay, do it at a big scale. Thank you.
Great point.
Other questions?
Fingers
Thank-
crossed.
We, just on behalf of Friends of American Ski Jumping and the Prairie Island community and what they've done on this, I just want to say thanks, because we have had support from the city council on this in terms of what we've done at the legislative level. And Red Wing is a very unique place in the history of our sport, and it's amazing when the Europeans come here, FIS, for example, and some of the groups that have come over, they know more about the history here in Red Wing than Americans do. So, thank you.